You're welcome to this segment of Schoolhouse, a place where we educate through entertainment. Don't forget, my name still remains Okudeli C. Daniel. I'm your regular host on this program, where we educate and make our girls learn things that they might not have known before, or probably they must have learned it but have forgotten due to how the country has been programmed to get us to learn things and forget them so easily. The last time we talked about who is educated, and we talked about somebody who is educated being somebody who has acquired skill. It might be through formal or through informal setting, but this individual has something that he has gained through education. It might be through apprenticeship or as the case may be. But today we're going to be talking about who is learned. We have a particular profession that call themselves my learned friend, my learned colleague. They just don't do that because they want to know. They do that because they know what they have passed through. And they do that because they know it has to be so. I'm going to say that we don't need to envy them. We don't need to envy them because no matter how much you try to do what they do, they can only say that this individual is well grounded in the field which they engage into. In this individual, they are well grounded. They can never call you my learned colleague or my learned friend. Well, let that not trouble us anyway. Just make sure that the field at which you find yourself, you are good to go and you are well grounded, as they may call it, in that field. Today we're going to be talking about who is learned. A person who is learned is one who have acquired intensive knowledge and education in various fields, various subjects, often through studying, through experience, and it can still be through critical thinking. That's most important that we take a look at. Critical thinking. You cannot be said to be learned in that particular field when you don't have intensive knowledge about that. Okay, let me go to the profession. It is called the law profession, the lawyers, the barristers. They call themselves learned friends. Now, every one of us can bear witness with this, that there is no field at which you touch that lawyers have nothing to speak about. There is no subject you can touch that they don't have anything to speak about. Why? Because they make sure that they have themselves involved in all these subjects, in all these professions, in all these fields. Why? So that they can give you a critical and well-packaged counsel or even defense when it comes to the issue of courts and judiciary. So we're talking about somebody who is learned. We're not going to push back on people who are educated. No. Lawyers, they started from being educated before they moved to the next level of being learned. And you cannot acquire that except you pass through certain steps of being learned. Today, we're going to be talking about, let's say, 1 or 2 steps that can help you to become a learned individual. Please put that aside if they call you my learned friend or not. Like I said, make sure you are grounded in that which you find yourself to do. If you have been educated in the time past, why don't you move to the next level? That's why they will say, this guy is an expert in that which he or she is doing. I come to challenge you once again, like I always do. Don't just stop in being educated. Try to become learned, where people can say he's well grounded in that field which has found yourself. Skill acquisition is not bad, but don't just die having only skill acquired. How can you take this skill to the next level? The world evolves. The world is not stagnant. So you being stagnant because you passed through education, sorry, but the truth is that you will still be limited. This is jet age where everything skyrockets. So if you peg yourself in that aspect where you are educated and you're comfortable, sorry, you're making no headway. They say the enemy of better is good. When you know you can become better, you can be telling yourself, I'm good at what I'm doing. Why don't you become better? Then strive to become the best in that field which you have found yourself. So today I've come to tell us some steps that we can take as individuals to push us to the next level of becoming learned. One, I'm going to be talking about long-term learning. You can call it lifelong learning. What does that mean? Promoting the idea that education doesn't just stop in formal or informal study. Education, it doesn't just stop there. Going through the 4 walls of school, going through apprenticeship, and you feel that's all. No. There's a saying in let me not say my dialect, but there's a saying that says, when a man learns a trade, he will learn also the tricks therein. You've learned a trade, but still there are tricks in that trade which you need to learn. And when you learn those tricks, believe you me, you can say to the learned in that field which you know, because the tricks in that field have to do with various things. It has to do with various approaches. It might be how to woo a customer. It might be how to write proposals. It might be how to actually fix a problem whenever they wear up their ugly heads. I know a good guy. He's very good in automobiles and automobile mechanic. But do you know why? He was limited because he doesn't know how to write. So even when customers come to him, he's able to detect the problems they have with their vehicles. The customer is okay, can you put on the parts I'm going to buy? He's limited. He can't even write. But the skill, Jesus, this guy is a guru. When it comes to that field, he can do magic. He can do miracles. Do you know why he's limited? Because he fails to move ahead. He fails to evolve and become better in that which he has learned. What are the tricks? What are the things you need to know when it comes to aspect of becoming an automobile mechanic? Imagine you dictating a problem for a vehicle owner, and the problem is just with battery. It becomes difficult for you to even write, these are the parts you need to buy, this and that. The guy was limited. Do you know what? He packed down to the village and he became a farmer. Not because he's supposed to be a farmer, but because he refused to move from the angle of being educated to the angle of being learned, and he was stagnant. So I must encourage lifelong learning, lifelong studying. Keep studying, keep learning. Encourage reading of books and attending workshops. You know, when I say reading of books, people might think, what if I don't know how to read and write? Attend workshops, attend lectures. Of a truth, every one of us should be involved in adult education. That's another topic for another day. We should be involved in adult education. It's a must. It's a must. Sorry, it might seem awkward, but the truth is that the world is moving at the speed of a light. You can't just be dormant in that which you have studied. You can't just be dormant in that which you have learned. how do you make use of it in this practical life? So, my viewers who have watched me previously, coming from who is educated, yeah, I had a lot of people who got back to us and they were encouraged. Thank you for letting me know that I'm educated, I'm not an illiterate. Yes, but today I've come to move you out from that your comfort zone. Initially, people were saying sky is going to be your point, sky is going to be your reward. But today we have moved from sky being our stepping stone, sky being our starting point. And you too can move from that place where you call the comfort zone. Forge ahead. You are not too old to become that which you have professed for yourself to be. Take for instance, there was a man who was 40 years and he wanted to go to a particular course to study in university, and his friends told him, you are too old, you can't go through this. Why don't you forget about this? You can't go through this, just take life. Life has come to be that way for you. Now another person walk up to him and tell him, sir, in the next 4 years, if you have passed through school, you're going to become a graduate. But believe you me, in as much as there is life, that 4 years will come, 5 years will come. Do you want that 5 years or 4 years to meet you still uneducated or somebody who didn't attend the university? Or do you want that 4 and 5 years to come meet you as a graduate? It sparked light into the man's brain. And the man said, in as much as that 5-4 years is going to come, I want that 5-4 years to meet me as a graduate. And he enrolled in things that will make him become a university student. Believe you me, he passed through that, and that 5 years came. The friends who told him he could not came back to say, congratulations. Why? Because he took the bull by the horn. He went through that process and he became a graduate. So please, I've come to encourage you today. Don't just stop because I've told you that skill acquisition is a part of being educated. Yes, but you can be a better person. Take a step. Don't die in that your comfort zone. Don't die hiding. The people who sell medicine will tell you that sickness you're hiding today will not hide you tomorrow. Because when the sickness becomes so obvious, everybody will know you actually have that sickness. So why don't you come out to treat it then when it was still something you can work with? So we've talked about long-term learning, continuous learning. Yeah, let me use that word. Continuous learning. Keep learning. Don't just stop. I have an uncle. Now I'm beginning to understand why he was doing what he was doing. You know, then when we were little, he would send you on errand to buy things for him. And when you get those things to him, if there are the things wrapped with paper, you know what you do? He will open it up. No matter how much that paper has been torn, you know what you do? He will still try to glance through those letters to see if he can make headway from what was written there. Then I was thinking it was a joke, but today I understood. That guy is not just a medical doctor, he's a barrister. He's a barrister. So you can understand when they call themselves my learned colleague. They have done what most of us refuse to do. Okay, now the second thing I want to talk about is diverse exposure. Diverse exposure. Diverse exposure. You can get exposition or being exposed to various fields and discipline. Yes, push yourself. Don't just believe somebody is better than you and you decide to die in your shell. No, reach out, get exposure in different fields. Not just your field. Yes, you are a mechanic, automobile mechanic. I don't know why I'm using that illustration, because I know most of them seem to suffer from that. You know, automobile mechanic, you have learned mechanic. Well, what do? You can go back to get to people who you scam to do their job. Most people don't like for me as a person, I don't like somebody coming into my vehicle and we are doing a gesture work. No. I'll ask you a question. Sir, what do you think is the problem with the car? And if I notice you are fidgeting, if I notice you're not being comfortable of telling me what the problem might be, I will take my vehicle away from your place. So in order for you not to get into that, why don't you try to get yourself involved, exposed to people who work with scanning machine. People who work with what? Scanning machine. And that can take your job to the next level. If you can learn how to use components or make machines to scan vehicles, what do? You are as well learning in that aspect. You are as well studying in that aspect. You are as well gaining more skill in that aspect, because what? You have exposed yourself. And you know you cannot do with machine when you don't know what language the machine is speaking. So what that entails, it entails that you have to force yourself to learn how to read and write. Sorry, I've not come to romance you today. I've only come to push you to get to your next level in life. Go out of your shell. Learn how to read and write. You can say, okay, I'm deaf, I'm dumb, I don't know how to speak, I can't even hear. But we know that it's school for people who are physically challenged. So if you can't talk, my brother, you can use sign language. It's still part of what? Communication. The only thing I've come to let us understand is that you have to improve your communication skill. Improve in your communication skill. That can still take you from being educated, being somebody who doesn't know what life gives in future, to somebody who can predict the future. Now, from that, I want to move to critical thinking. You can move from being educated to being learned when you engage in critical thinking. Encourage questioning. Encourage analyzing of information rather than accepting it just the way it is. You know, most of us, we feel too lazy when things are pushed across our way because we don't want to push forward to do further investigation. We accept it. If you accept it, you are simply making yourself a mediocre. You are simply making yourself to be stopped in the angle of being educated. You don't want to be learned. So going through critical thinking, expose yourself, get ready for questioning, ask questions, get ready to analyze information. If you can, sky is going to be your starting point. I've just talked on 3 points. One, don't forget, long-time learning. That's continuous learning, or you call it lifelong learning. Then I've talked about diverse exposition. Don't just stop in that which you know. Try to widen up your scope. Try to learn more. Open up your heart and receive more knowledge from different peers and professions. Then the third one I talked about has to do with critical thinking. You know what I like? I love people criticizing me. I love critics a lot. And I do it as well. But sometimes people don't just understand. They feel I'm just trying to belittle them. No, it's just part of me. I love to criticize. I criticize you to make you better. You criticize me to make me better. But I have should I call it a cross line? I know my limitations and I know how to criticize. I don't criticize with hatred on my face. No, I criticize with you knowing that I'm pointing out places where you can improve. Criticize me, and I'll take it up from there and be a better person. Don't forget, this is still Schoolhouse, where we educate through entertainment. This is a very robust program, and I'm still having like 3 others to give to us to make us become a learned person. But I'm going to stop here, so I'm not going to make this video too long. If you are seeing us for the first time, please go and do the needful. Click on the subscription button. If you are our regular viewers on this program, what do? Click on the like button and share. When we come next time, I'm going to be talking about 3 other steps to help us move from the angle of being educated to the angle of being learned. Do you know why? So that the whole world can look for us when they will say, he is a guru in that field where he has found himself. I still remain your host on this program called Schoolhouse, where we educate through entertainment. Till I come your way next time, keeping on and keep learning to have a better society. Thank you.